Hi everyone and welcome to Rupy Tuesday. So again, this is very exciting because it's another special edition and I'm interviewing one of my really good friends today, Brooke Trotter. Hello Brooke.
Hi Rupes.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's great, great. So I'm just going to ask Brooke a few questions. I find Brooke really empowering and he has an amazing story to share with you today. So let's get started. So Brooke, just wanted to know, like, if you could just tell our audience how old you are.
I'm 36.
36? Not really good for your age.
It's all Botox.
Botox. Botox and both free. It's great. Whereabouts are you from, Brooke?
I'm from Scarborough in North Yorkshire.
Right, but you're living in Manchester right now, aren't you?
Living in Manchester there, living in Didsbury.
Oh, okay, cool. How long have you been living in Manchester?
I moved here originally in 2005 and I had an accident. I was really badly knocked over in 2007 and I moved away for 6 years and come back to Manchester in 2013.
What do you do? Like, what do you get up to in your day-to-day life?
My day-to-day life, I've just started, we'll explain why in a minute, but I've just started working. I was working for a company called CFG Law and I'm helping them in their marketing department and writing various blogs and stuff. I occasionally give public talks. I'm going to speak for the Association of Personal Injury Lawyers in London and Manchester. On the 5th of March I'm giving my first university lecture, which is at Cardiff University. And I'm doing something called Neuro, which is like it's not the European or a national conference on all things neuro in Birmingham. I'm doing that at the back end of the month.
So I think basically you work for a law firm, you raise awareness about something that we're going to go into next, and you're just kind of like building your profile and doing public speaking and you're going to be doing a lecture soon. So I think it's about time for us to mention like kind of how you've got into this, or how you've got into public speaking and why you're working for this certain law firm. So kind of, how did you get into all this?
So what happened to me was I was at uni in 2007. I was on a night out and going home to catch the bus. I was crossing over Portland Street in Manchester, and there was I was walking down Oxford Road, and as I crossed over Portland Street there was a car coming down Portland Street at about 50 miles an hour, and it slammed its brakes on, it skidded, it come onto the pavement, it hit me when I was on the pavement, and basically hit me, gave me really bad head injuries. My head went through the windscreen. I was in a coma for 16 days, and hospital nearly 6 months, and then I was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury, and it was just basically been a long, slow process to get ready to get well after that.
Yeah.
So it's something that's still going on. It will most likely be going on for the rest of my life, but it's better now than it ever has been.
I know things are a bit of a blur, but it's just, for me it just sounds so traumatic that you were, I think the drivers were drunk, weren't they?
They'd been drinking. The driver that they tested was just under the limit, so not wanting to get into anything about the court case or anything, but he'd been drinking, but he was just under the legal drink drive limit, which I've been doing some things for the emergency services, and it's a little bit of alcohol, that's all you need really. It can affect your driving, so what actually went on in that car we'll never know.
I know things were a bit of a blur, but kind of like to wake up from a coma after being in a coma for 16 days, like what What was the prognosis and kind of were the doctors scared that you wouldn't wake up or?
Yeah, I mean it was pretty serious. I don't know if you know about the Glasgow coma scale, which is it's a scale that you measure people that are in a coma on. Basically, it's from the lowest you can get is a 3, and the highest you can get is 15, and it's marks on eye movement, eye response, motor response, and something else. Marks on 3 things anyway, and the lowest you can get is 3. It'd be a none of each, and that's what I was a 3. I didn't wake up. You don't just snap out of a coma. My eyes had opened on the 16th. I think it's from then, it was the first 2 weeks before I actually said the first word.
Wow.
So it's like, it's not really like how it's depicted in the films.
Yeah.
Somebody suddenly wakes up. Because obviously you've been laid there all that time, it's muscle wastage and you're very weak, you can't walk at first. And
yeah, but you woke up and you said your words a few weeks later, and remind me again, what was the first thing you said?
The first thing I said was, we went to, so there was a healthcare assistant pushing the trolley around with different drinks on, making people the hot tea, coffee, hot chocolate. And because I'd been mute for like 2 weeks, I'd never said anything, so my sister went to order a hot chocolate for me. And I piped up and said, I'll have half a Stella please. And so that was my little introduction back into the world.
And I know you say you're still working through your challenges, but kind of what has your experience been like? Well, what was it initially like through that challenging time?
I think initially it's just confusion. You don't really understand what was going wrong. I mean, what had gone wrong. It took me a long time to realise there was anything actually wrong with me. I thought it was everybody else with the problem.
What do you mean?
I was mean I could walk. I couldn't. You can't see yourself, can you? If I'd have watched a video of myself, my speech would have been terrible. But as far as I was concerned, I was okay. But I was obviously in a really bad state, but I couldn't see it myself, and it took me quite a long, probably about 3 years, talking 3 years after I got out of hospital, to realise what had fully happened to me.
Yeah.
And I could, when I was in the hospital, I could have told you what had happened. I could have told you I'd been hit by a car. I don't think I really ever believed it.
Registered
it. So then what happens is, when you gain like awareness of your situation, that often comes with like a big bout of depression, because you realise what is the enormity of it, and what the influence that's going to have on what that means for the rest of your life, and the fact that you're never ever going to get better from it, and because at the first you're just kind of waiting for these things to just go away. But when they don't go away, then it gets a bit depressing. You realise it never will.
And you say you're still adapting and stuff. So how do you think you've managed?
I don't know. Because like I see in double vision now, I have to go to bed in the middle of the day. There's various things that are just would be weird if you just suddenly went into my body, but it's just normal. It's just totally normal. I have to give myself an injection at night, and that's just it's not. I actually think you sometimes think about, for the people going out for a full day out, you just think like, are you going to have your rest in the middle of it? And you realise, no, I'm not. Normal people don't have rest. So it's just, you just get used to it, don't you?
So you learn to adapt, don't you?
Yeah. And I just seeing double vision. It's alright.
Yeah. So there's obviously that physical adaptation that you have to go through, but what about like emotionally?
How do you mean?
So I think in particular to that blog that I read the other day, so I really found that quite interesting about how you look at people and you think on the outside that they've got this shiny reality, and
I think that's like a symptom of depression, isn't it? Because you tend to, when you're depressed, you tend to look for everything else that's better than, and it's particularly like Facebook, Instagram. That's what that is. That's the highlight reel. 'Cause
Yeah.
nobody puts photos of themselves when they're having a rubbish day.
Yeah.
And you just get the impression that everybody's life is just so amazing. Like, and it's looking at, you know, when you're feeling that bad as well. And you look on Facebook and you see everybody with filtered. I don't know what filtered photos were, so I just want everybody. I've not had dog ears and stuff like that, but everybody had, like, you know, everybody was a lot better looking than they were, and you just feel really terrible. And then you have to go to bed in the middle of the day, and it's just. I think that comparing thing. That's just the standard symptom of depression. That's all that was.
So you say like you had depression and you still got...
I don't know. I mean, depression is meant to be really serious, isn't it? I don't think I've ever really had full-on depression. I mean, I'd say I had quite like a low mood, but as things going on, you know, I've sort of forced myself into doing stuff and going to, you know, give public talks, been speaking to different sixth forms and stuff, young drivers, and then you kind of think that I'm like getting quite an interesting person.
Yeah, no, you're definitely an interesting person, Brooke, and you know, I always feel like whenever I see you and stuff, like you're so funny, like the banter that you have as well, it is good. So like, so when did you decide, like, obviously you felt like you were in a low mood, you felt like you were boring, so when did you decide, actually, I want to start blogging, I want to start raising awareness, I want to do public speaking?
I don't think there was ever a moment. Somebody called Tina in Scarborough suggested to me that I did a blog, and I just started writing. I mean, brain injury, basically, there's a saying that if you've seen one brain injury, you've seen one brain injury, because they're all completely different. And every person who has a head injury is totally unique, so the brain's unique and what have you. And but there are a lot of symptoms such as fatigue, such as memory problems. There are all these things that are like quite common. So I just kind of started writing about them, and you know, putting an interest in what I think is a funny take on it.
But there must be a reason why you started writing.
Boredom. Because I was just, my life there was no point to it. I just, that I could say, you know, I was like on this path to get better, but where was that going to take me? Like, I was watching all my friends go to uni, having qualifications, moving down to London, getting good jobs, and I was just like sat at home in Scarborough doing nothing. So it came out of frustration, so that was the first thing I did, started writing a blog. And I saw somebody, I read the thing once, you know, there's like a thing online, you know, 10 things that scare people the most, and one of them was public speaking. I thought, I can do that.
Yeah.
So I, like, going a career the normal route, I had fatigue, you know, I couldn't concentrate for more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So going back to uni just wasn't even an option. So and you know, I couldn't get a job because I'd get sacked by lunchtime for being asleep, because I was just so fatigued all the time. The first thing I did was for Headway, which was the Headway in Scarborough, which is the brain injury charity, the National Brain Injury Charity. And I did it for just basically told my story for and that was in front of about 40 people. And then from then it went to different, my auntie got me different connections to different places. Like I started speaking to sixth form pupils, like year 12 and 13, I think, you know, young driver age, about the dangers of, you know, possible consequences of driving badly, which is what happened to me, wasn't it? It was somebody not paying attention.
Yeah.
And it just went from there, and it was always my ambition to move back to Manchester, so I finally did it. I probably did it before I should have done. People wanted me to, you know, stay back home, but it's a case of like, how long is you know, how long is long enough to stay? So yeah, I don't regret. It was hard at first. I started volunteering at it's called BASIC. It's an acronym of Brain and Spinal Injury Centre in Salford. That's a brain and spinal injury charity. They became really good friends to me. I got some treatment from them. I started going to the memory class on Wednesdays, and a class by the wonderful Mary Todd. She teaches basically techniques to help your memory with, and it's just a bunch of people with brain injuries getting together, and it's quite a positive vibe. From then I started to I was going down to Wakefield, and I was speaking to students there about road safety, telling my story and stuff. I was doing it with West Yorkshire Fire, and when when that came to an end, I asked a guy called Andy. I said to him, is there anything else? And he very kindly rang Manchester Fire, and they put me in touch with a lady called Leslie Allen, and who was doing something called Safe Drive Stay Alive, which is kind of an initiative by the emergency services, all the emergency services of Manchester, and it's like a stage show, and somebody comes from the fire, somebody from the police, somebody from police ambulance, and someone maybe a doctor, and then there's like me, because I was in their position, I was a student at the time. I started with a guy called Phil, who was the vocational rehab consultant at the BASIC. He put me in touch with a company called UKBIF, which is UK Acquired Brain Injury Foundation. So I emailed them in London. They said the local representative is a solicitor called Sabrina for a place called CFG Law in Cheadle, and so I went along to meet her. So I got to know that company, and I always wanted to kind of work there when I used to go visit the office, and I thought I'd like to work there.
You're basically, you still got your blog, and you're writing a blog through them as well, aren't you?
Yeah, well that's I always wanted to work there, and that's now where I'm working. So
that's amazing, and you're raising awareness for the emergency services, which is really cool as well. So it sounds like you're raising awareness for young drivers who statistically are more likely to perform dangerous driving.
Well, just because you don't understand it, especially with kids playing computer games and stuff, you don't realise the enormous responsibility that a car comes with, and it's
Absolutely.
Unfortunately lots of kids have accidents, and they don't realise until it's too late, and it's kind of getting them before that.
Yeah,
especially with the big danger at the moment, it's mobile phones, and all the different apps on the phone, Snapchat, and it makes me feel really old because I don't know what any of them are. But Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook and stuff like that, and it's just you can lose concentration for a second, and
absolutely. So you did amazing work, Brooke. You're raising awareness all around the globe, and what I was really interested in, it was when you said, you read that article about people's top 10 fears, and you looked at public speaking, and you were like, right, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go.
It was just something I could do. I was in a situation where I couldn't do anything, well, I couldn't think of anything I could do in my life, and public speaking fitted me perfect because I could spend as long as I want writing it, and then to actually perform it, it's usually only like half an hour.
Yeah.
It's exhausting though. It's really exhausting, but it's
worth
good.
it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you write your blog, you've been doing your public speaking. So I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel like your life's changed since you've been pushing your boundaries and been doing all this?
Since I started that, I had nothing in my life at all, and now the problem I've got is I've got too much. Can I keep my,
But it's a nice problem.
Yeah, it's managing my fatigue, whether I can keep up with all this stuff. But yeah, it's a lot better. I think that's what happens to old people as well, isn't it? If they retire, they lose the purpose in life, and they tend to go downhill rapidly. That's the advice I'd give to anybody with a brain injury or with any sort of disability. Was you've just got to kind of keep on keeping on, haven't you? You've got to keep using your brain, keep challenging yourself, and that's how I've where I wouldn't call myself a success story, but I've done all right. And when the times when I've done best is when I've been challenging myself, or the times when I've done the worst is when I've just been backed off and I've just been lazy and done nothing.
I think that's really interesting. And how can people, like, obviously you wanted to challenge yourself, and how can you encourage others to challenge themselves?
That's one of the things. I don't think I can do it. I think it's you have to do it yourself, don't you? And it becomes, if you're going through that stage of a brain injury, when you as you become more aware, you become more depressed, and you just kind of you feel this need to do something, and that's I found. I remember thinking that I was never ever going to find anything for me, but I still kind of, you get nervous whether this is going to run out, but it's just got to come from yourself. So
I think, like you mentioned, like a couple of things there. So few things actually. So the take home message that I got from you is face your fear and do it anyway. Working out what your purpose is, and just taking just take your life as it comes. And
if you do something that don't work, then at least you've done it.
Yeah.
And it's not wasted time, because you've been spending that time discovering that you didn't.
I love that motto. Love it, love it, love it.
So if I've started trying to promote awareness of brain injury, and I've started to sharing other people's stories. I'll do it through my Facebook page, which is Brain Injury Brooke. I'm sure you'll put a link up there.
I will.
And I've just posted something now actually. Before I came round, it's a guy called Ricky Ashworth, who was a speedway rider. He'd hit the wall on his speedway bike, and he was really badly injured. I don't think people give him much chance, and he always said he wants to get back on his motorbike, and people were saying obviously that's never ever going to happen. But he's actually on BBC News tomorrow, national TV, on at 6. I don't know if it's still going at a long time, but it's on at 6:40, 7:40 and 8:40 on BBC Breakfast, and he's been riding his bike around Manchester Velodrome, riding a cycle around Manchester Velodrome. So don't bet against him.
Proving people wrong.
Yeah, so there's in sort of the world of brain injury, there's a lot of depression there's a lot of people. It becomes too much, but there's also a lot of people that are really inspiring people like that as well. So it's you put in that situation, you put in that situation where you have to do it or you not do it. So you'd be surprised what people do. And
you're a very empowering person. You are. So
as are you. And it's like yourself, isn't it? You could sit at home and and do nothing, but got a degree, you've got a master. Have you done a master's? Yeah. And
you look to be in here, bro.
You've done this. No, I'm just saying, you're one of those people, bro, Rupy. Sorry, you're one of those people that's make you think. It's not. You can't give up, can you? So there's life to be lived, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. No, thank you, Brooke. And Brooke, this has been an amazing interview. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. So how can people find out more about you, and where do they go?
Well, so I've got the blog I started writing. I've got on a website now. It's Brain Injury Brooke. It's all one word, and Brooke with an E.
I'll put the link on you.
And I've got a Facebook page, Brain Injury Brooke. I'm now doing writing blogs for the company I work for, which is CFG Law, which stands for Client First Group, and you can I've got a section on our website, and public speaking, just look out for me. And
so there's lots.
Maybe Hollywood next year.
Hollywood, wouldn't surprise me at all. Thank you so much, Brooke. It's been an amazing interview.
Thanks, Ruth.
And yeah, so if you want to find out more about Brooke, I shall be putting those links that you mentioned just down below under this video. So if you like this video, please, obviously like it.
I can subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe and share amongst your friends and family. And I shall look forward to seeing you next week on another Rupy Tuesday. Thank you very much, everyone.